And good Sunday afternoon, everyone. This is John and Sean with Pure John Fantasy Sports, getting ready for week 2 of the NFL season. Thank you for everybody that responded to our Twitter. Posted, I believe we got 10 questions over there this morning, Sean. So, uh,
Yeah,
a nice day there on Twitter. I did put the link over there for some people to come over here. So hopefully we get some of those people over here. But once again, thank you for being here. What are you expecting from week 2? I know your Vikings don't play till tomorrow, so what are you looking for today?
uh, eh, I'm just looking to see these players that I mean, not I'm gonna, the players that we thought would be great for like fantasy purposes to actually step up, like Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, both on the Cowboys. Like they both were really mediocre, and then you got some wide receivers that just were duds week 1. I mean, Robert Woods, you would think in Tennessee was going to be a star. He was a dud. All of the wide receivers in Tampa Bay are pretty much injured. I think they right now have one active wide receiver that they have said isn't injured and questionable to start. So, and then from there, I mean, there's a lot of starting players injured for running backs. So a lot of backups today.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get Twitter going here to see what the news updates might be. But yeah, good Thursday night game to kick off Amazon Prime's coverage. I'm still looking into that to see if we can stream those games. It doesn't look like it, but I'm still wait. I did send an email to the NFL and Prime to see what they said, but I highly doubt I get a response. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll definitely be live streaming, even if we can't show the game. So we'll be here. But let's put Twitter up, see what some of the headlines are right now. All right, predictions. Let's see. We'll look into our predictions as well. Sean, I have to get our predictions that you sent me. So we got that. Week 1 was bad for me, but let's see. You told me you just texted me before we went live. Julio was out, and 2 other people were out. Who were those people?
J.K. Dobbins is officially out, so Kenyon Drake's going to start there, and Alvin Kamara is out, and so Mark Ingram's going to step up into that role, which I don't think Mark Ingram's really going to do much because I just don't think he has it in his tank anymore to be a starting running back.
Yes. Let me just tweet this out to let everybody know we are live right now. Let's keep going through the thing. Who's up? Who's down? Here we go. Here's some more inactives. Oh, actives and inactives. Fournette's in. Dobbins is out, like you said. Swift is in, and some. Let's see, on the offensive line, Armstead for the Dolphins is in, and Peters for the Ravens is in as well. So, um,
Yeah, and then you got DeAndre, like you said, DeAndre Swift, and you got Mike Evans, who's battling a hamstring injury. They said that he's iffy on how much he's going to even play today, and so is Leonard Fournette. And then you got Russell Gage, all 3 Tampa Bay players. Like they don't even have an offense. I mean, Godwin's going to be questionable probably the rest of the year off and on because when you're coming back from an ACL injury, look how many players have come back from an ACL injury and they're very iffy on playing a lot, especially when they have a Sunday game and then they turn around and have to play a Monday night game or a Thursday night game or something. Watch out for those games, especially if being banged up.
yeah, sorry. Let me finish tweeting this. Let's talk about some of the games today. I know we got the Browns and Jets. I don't expect much from my Jets today, unfortunately. I don't think we're going to do anything until at least Zach Wilson gets back and the team. Even though he's practicing, the team's saying week 4. I mean, if he's healthy enough to practice and he's jumping up and down, what are we waiting for? I mean, we need to find out if this kid's the deal or not. So, any thoughts on Jets Browns today?
What Jet team's going to show up? Really, I mean, last week we saw 50-50 carries pretty much with Michael Carter and Breece Hall. So how does that work out? Does it still stay the same? And then Joe Flacco, he showed a lot of greatness last week, but like you said on Thursday night, they outperformed the Ravens all game, but the scoreboard showed that they didn't do anything.
Right.
So you can't have turnovers, especially against the Browns, because the Browns aren't going to turn it over much with the fact that they run the ball so very much. So if they could stop the run, I think they could win the game today.
It's going to be tough. The COD God 958. Thanks for stopping by. First time chatter, it says. He's saying Jeff Wilson or Drake. Sean, I'm getting a drink. Unsponsored by Dr. Pepper, by the way. But if they want to, Wilson or Drake, what do you think?
Don't get banned over soda now. Come on. I'm gonna go with Drake. I don't like Wilson for the fact that the Niners changed running backs out so very much. They have 3 running backs that are active today that they said they were going to share the ball. And from what you were saying, it's a tsunami again in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not even be running the ball very much. I already took Deebo out of my lineup. I'm probably going to have to do something with him because I'm not going to sit here and keep him rolling on my bench. He's just wasting my space. But I would go with Drake. Is there any options to pick anybody up in that league? Is Hines available from the Colts? If he's available, I would definitely try to get him. Is Mark Ingram available on the Saints? What kind of top running backs are available for you? Because I would say if there's someone better, I would try to grab somebody over Drake.
Yeah, so actually, let me go over and see if we can get a weather. See who's got sports weather updates here. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, or Pittsburgh and New England this week. So let's talk about that one. I know Mac Jones has got back spasms. So your thoughts? We kind of expected New England to lose to Miami last week, and that's what happened. But going to Pittsburgh goes into Cincinnati and comes away with a win there. So what happens here?
Honestly, if New England loses today and if Mac Jones does play fully and he's a dud again, I honestly could see them calling back Cam Newton maybe, or even trying to go after maybe Jimmy G again and bring him back to New England, just because I don't think that Bill Belichick's going to sit here and keep wasting his time with Mac Jones if Mac Jones is constantly going to just be a dud. I mean, he single-handedly gave him a touchdown last week with fumbling the ball and giving him a fumble 6. And then he threw an interception in the end zone. So you think about it, right there was a minimum 10-point swing. They only lost by, I think 10. So if Mac Jones doesn't throw an interception and lose a fumble, they could have possibly been tied there. So I think it all comes down to him.
So let's keep looking here. I do have the weather for San Francisco for the game in San Francisco here. Let me put it up on the screen here. Today, rain and possibly a thunderstorm. High near 65. Wind around 23 to 29. So definitely big wind gusts. Precipitation 90%. So not as much. So definitely not anywhere near as much rain, but still raining. But definitely windy.
I was gonna say, look at the wind right there, 23 to possibly 36. Like, good luck kicking field goals or extra points. Just go for 2.
Let me bring on the third member of our team here. He's got his own Twitch channel. He still gives us time over here on our channel. Very active on our Discord as well. Rye Cannon, welcome to the stream. How are you today? Your Seahawks with a big week 1 win. You predicted it all week long last week, and you've been able to mouth off pretty much over on Discord all week. So how are you this morning, and how about those Seahawks?
Man, I'm doing great. I'll be doing great all the way probably until about 4 o'clock, depending on how that goes. But until then, I'm going to revel in this week 1 as long as it takes. But it's been a great week ever since Monday. But I don't think for the Seahawks fans there will probably be another high that high for the rest of the year. So I'm just glad that we all got to enjoy it as the 12s because it might be a rough season, but at the end of the day, no matter how this rest of this season goes, Seahawks fans will remember this for not 5 years, not 10 years. To the day I die, I will remember this week 1 game because it was just that like important, special, and it was pretty cool to watch. One of the most watched games of all time. I mean, that's pretty cool in itself, especially when you're going from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith and you have such expectations for your team to get it, just to get even 1 game like that all year.
Yeah, right. Yep. So, man, what helped them was those couple turnovers down there on the goal line. Gordon, and Williams both fumbled there at the goal line. So, that led to that thing. And with the weather in San Francisco today, anything can happen.
For real. Yeah, I mean, and who knows with like Trey Lance and a backup running back as well. I mean, it's going to definitely be interesting to see what happens because Kittle has been iffy. If he plays the full game, that could be the difference maker in a game like that, in a low-scoring game, whether Kittle is healthy enough to go for the full thing or if he shows up for a couple plays and then goes right back out. That's a huge difference for the Seahawks team because Kittle gives the Seattle team consistent problems as well, which not a surprise, but our safeties and linebackers in coverage have never been the top tier over the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So Sean, your thoughts on that game?
Honestly, I could honestly see Kittle just not even playing. If it's going to be a tsunami, I don't think they're going to risk him getting injured again because there's no point sitting there losing. Now your star running back and your star tight end. And I mean, even look at the tsunami weather last week. They barely even had Debo involved in the game. They're not gonna sit there, and especially once they lost. Which I can't even. I just went brain dead on the running back. The Niners, Mitchell. Yeah, I just went. I lost train of thought there. Once they lost him, it was kind of the running game was gone.
Mm-hmm.
It shows right there that their running back is dependent on Mitchell, and for the fact that he's now gone 4 to 6 weeks. If you lose Kittle for 4 to 6 weeks, Trey Lance might as well just go back to being a backup because he's not going to be there long.
Yeah. Let me catch up over here. Oh, Ryken, I saw you at the bottom of the screen. I didn't realize you posted in the chat. He says moo. Harold's here. Harold's our resident Lions fans. Golf afternoon, everyone. Golf afternoon to you as well. I expect the Lions are a home favorite for the first time.
Nope,
not anymore. 20-something games?
Nope, not anymore.
Oh, they're underdogs now?
Nope, they're even.
Oh, it's even.
It's even across the board. So they went from being a home favorite to last I saw as of 11 o'clock. I think it was even. I didn't even check. I'll see what the live update has been for. I'll check real quick on San Francisco because we said that was 9.5 on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I don't. Here, we'll see right here.
Harold even said it's even now. So.
Yeah. The Browns and the Jets is -6.5. The Rams is still -10. It's still 8.5 for San Francisco.
Wow, that's honestly even just because of the weather, you have to take the Seahawks plus the 8.5, don't you?
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle plus 8.5 because there's no way I don't see Seattle not being within a touchdown, especially with Trey Lance. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, he's only 1-3 in his career, and that one win was only by a score.
So
I said all offseason,
like Pete Carroll teams to get out.
I said all offseason that Trey Lance was going to be a dud.
Like 2-score game. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've had Russell Wilson for a while, but it's just rare to see a team it's rare.
I still think Geno Smith's still a decent quarterback. I mean, it just took a while for him to get a start. I mean, look at like Tyrod Taylor. When he gets a start, he's good enough to do what he needs to do to win the game. So I think Tyrod Taylor being on the Giants, I think is worthy because if Jones starts struggling, they're not going to sit there and waste their time. They're going to pull the trigger. Where San Francisco, you just made him the highest paid back. You made the highest paid backup for Jimmy G, and then you're going to sit there and you're struggling with Trey Lance. How long are you sit there and struggle? Like, it just makes no sense.
Yeah, so let's
A
keep
team who
looking
went
at
to the
this.
Super Bowl with that quarterback too.
Yeah, I don't understand that 49ers are like the sixth best odds to win a Super Bowl. I don't get it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Not
I think it
depending
really
on a
depends on
defense.
the progression of Trey Lance. I think
you're depending more on your defense. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think the thought process for betting on a team like the Niners would be that they can keep the competitive defense, keep the Deebo Samuel elements, and then get extra stuff out of Trey Lance that you couldn't get out of Jimmy. But that depends on you're asking a guy to take a huge leap. And then, I mean, we've seen it from other sophomore quarterbacks before. We've seen Russell Wilson go to the Super Bowl. We saw Patrick Mahomes go do crazy things in his second year. So I think people are kind of like banking on something like that. Even I said if Trey Lance is even solid, I don't see why the Niners couldn't get to the Super Bowl. They should have really been in the Super Bowl last year. And that's with Jimmy G, who I think is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
See, Jimmy G, I don't know. I think Deebo helped him a lot. And I just think
And
that
Kittle.
ended. Yeah, I just think that Jimmy G would make it good enough. Jimmy G learned from Tom Brady. You don't have to throw the ball 100 times to win a game. Just got to make it count when you need to make it count. And running the clock down is a lot and key thing for some teams, especially when the 49ers last year. But I think this year, yeah, even before it just came up on the 49ers on NFL Network that he's a game time decision for Kittle. Like, if I have him in fantasy, I'm not even starting him.
Yeah, yep. I have Kittle, and I got him out of all of my lineup. So
Probably a good idea.
If he gets in there a lot of the times, I could see him getting 5 snaps and then being done for the day too. So I wouldn't get your hopes up that even if he does play, and then it could go the opposite way. He could play the entire game, score 2 touchdowns, and then what are you going to do? But literally, I could see him getting Kittle's out 100%. There you go.
Yeah.
I'll take Amar's word for it. And he's locked in like I am with the Seahawks.
So, Amar, thank you for being here. I know you're part of the Cannon crew over there. So thanks for stopping by here as well. Man, so let's see what else we had going on here. Sean and I let's add this to the stream here. Last week, we both had the Thursday night winner. That was our only wins of the week. But this week, Sean, why don't you tell us? We both took Kansas City on Thursday, but you're upset, and then I'll go with mine.
My upset obviously is going to be Minnesota because I just think that they just I wouldn't say destroyed Green Bay on Sunday, but they pretty much controlled the game from start to finish. From the first drive to the end, they didn't really give them a chance, Green Bay, to get any momentum or anything going. But I just think that playing on Monday Night Football for Kirk Cousins, 1, is big, so he's going to definitely circle that game. But 2, I think being able to beat an Eagles team that we haven't been able to control. Really, I think we win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. I think if we can honestly win this, it'd be big because to go start the season 2-0 for Minnesota and say if some freak thing tonight Green Bay loses to Chicago, to be 2-0 and have a 2-game lead over Green Bay in the division, I think would be key because Chicago, I don't think, has any chance to even control that destiny in the division. And then for my lock of the week, I just think the Rams are the bounce back team. I think they win by double digits over Atlanta. I do think that. I think that Matt Stafford's just going to throw Cooper Kupp the ball 100 times, and he's probably going to catch it 95 of the times because I just don't see him throwing Allen Robinson. They've went and picked up Allen Robinson in free agency, and in week 1, they didn't even target him more than once.
Yeah, yep. So we'll keep an eye on that for fantasy purposes as well. But for me, I took this week from my upset pick, I took Carolina facing the Giants. The Giants beat Tennessee last week. That's not saying much, though, because the Jets beat Tennessee last year as well. So that's not saying much. But it looks like Saquon is back. Sean, you've been saying that all offseason. So he looks healthy. But I just think things come back to reality here. And Carolina gets the win at the Meadowlands over the Giants. So give me the points there. And I asked you this morning who your lock of the week was because I didn't want to take the same. And I was going to go with the Rams as well. But since you did, I'm taking Buffalo on Monday night against Tennessee. I would not be surprised if Buffalo wins this game by at least 2 touchdowns. Tennessee's overrated. You and I have both been saying that all offseason. And, week 1 proved it. And I think it's time to move on from Tannehill there with the Titans. But, yeah, I took Buffalo for my lock this week. Rykanen, you're our guest this week. So why don't you give your upset pick of the week to win the game, not going by the point spread, and the lock of the week for you.
Yeah. So last week, upsets were pretty good for your boy Ken, and so I think I'll keep my little spice of doing a double upset and keep the Seahawks in there, especially since they're 8.5-point underdogs to a quarterback who's won 1 game in his career. So I think I'll keep the Seahawks on lock, but I'll always do another one. Texans kind of messed it up last week. They should have gotten the win, but we'll move on from that too. So I think this week I'm going to have to agree with Sean. I wasn't even sure, but I guess it is an upset. 2.5-point underdogs. The Vikings are going to kick the Eagles' ass, and I've been thinking that all week long. I would hammer the table. I was literally getting ready to tell everybody to come in here and bet on the Vikings this week because I don't even see it being that close of a game. I would not be surprised if the Eagles go in there and get destroyed because I don't think it's that close of 2 teams as far as offensive talent goes. I mean, don't get me wrong. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are very good, but Jalen Hurts is not. Not a good thrower of the football, and I think the Vikings will cause them a lot of problems after what they did to Aaron Rodgers last week.
My only concern ever with Jalen Hurts is he's too mobile, and being mobile isn't a good thing with Minnesota because they've proven that they do enjoy injuring quarterbacks. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't just headhunt him a whole game. And the Vikings are very good at stopping a run. I mean, we stopped Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon last week. I think they both had under 50 yards rushing. Miles Sanders isn't going to be able to play. He might as well just sit at the bench because he's not going to be able to control that game like he was able to last week. I mean, they were able to run a lot. The Vikings they're probably going to put Zadarius Smith as a spy, and he's just going to follow Jalen Hurts all game long. He's just going to sit there. Him and Kendricks are just going to watch him all game. And they're pretty good at shutting down receivers. I mean, Devontae Adams always had like a 100-yard game, but it was never like 150. The Vikings aren't going to let A.J. Brown have a 100-yard game tomorrow.
Yep. And Rykanen, who's your lock of the week?
Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals to absolutely decimate the Cowboys. I mean, it's just I think that's the safest lock you could even go with at this point. I don't give the Cowboys with Cooper Rush a chance in hell. The Bengals did look bad, but they still almost beat the Steelers after you can't get a much worse performance from your starting quarterback, and they still almost won that game. So I could definitely see the Bengals not even making this a close game. Although I would not be surprised if after what Jamar Chase said, Trayvon Diggs has like a great play this week because that's how it always seems to go. I don't know why you would say that before the game, but it is what it is. I still think they're going to blow them out, but I could see that moment.
Yeah, yep.
I just wanted to put that out there in the universe.
Yeah, Harold says could be Minnesota this week as well. Agreed. Amar says, the only thing I would say about this is that Green Bay always looks terrible week 1, so I'm still skeptical on the Vikings. I'm not skeptical on the Vikings. I am skeptical on Green Bay just because of their wide receiver core, and if we still don't know what Alan Lazard is, if he's playing or not. Now, Lazard does play, but it still doesn't make their wide opposite of him is nothing. So,
I don't know. Like to me, I'm never skeptical on Green Bay. just because it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers can do Aaron Rodgers things any given week. I mean, he could come out today and throw for 500 yards with Joe Schmo out of the grandstands. I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers for a reason. I mean, he's had 3 MVPs for a reason, so he knows what he's got to do. So it's hard to really say how he could play, but he's gonna have to learn from week 1. I mean, my only thing is Aaron Rodgers never plays the preseason. He probably should have played the preseason this year, knowing that he didn't have Devontae Adams.
Yeah, true. So let's keep looking. Let's go back over
I
to
also
Twitch.
just think the receivers for Minnesota are not going to have, or are going to have a good time with the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles having the most success is going to come from being able to get interior pressure and put pressure on Cousins up the middle. I think that's their best way to really make this a close game. And if they can't get that interior pressure, I literally think this could be a blowout because watch out for Adam Thielen to have a touchdown for sure, because I think Darius Slay is probably going to try and shut down Jefferson. And I can still see Jefferson easily getting his this week, but Adam Thielen, I think, is going to be a good one to watch if you like them same game parlays, because I really think he might grab a touchdown this week.
Yeah, so Cookhouse is here. Thank you for being here. Says first time chatter. Thank you for being here again. Make sure you hit that follow button. Get those channel points. Let us know who your favorite team is. But here he says, Gabe Davis is my wide receiver 2 with his status in question for Monday. Do I play Mike Thomas versus the Bucks or wait and see on Gabe? If I wait to see, I have a fallback option of Thielen on Monday as well. I would definitely wait. I would either use Gabe Davis or, like Rycannon just said, Adam Thielen could have a big game this week as well. So wait till Monday and use one of your options on Monday. Sean, come on, man. I'm still trying to convince you. We live streaming Monday night, bud?
No, we're not live streaming. I told you. I already got lost Thanksgiving. I'm not losing my Monday night now.
Oh man. That's funny.
But no, I completely agree. Gabriel Davis is a must start in any fantasy. So if he does play tomorrow night and is active, I'm not even sure what his injury is, because he was healthy all last week, and then all of a sudden it was like Thursday afternoon he's injured all of a sudden. So it's like what was happening? But if he does play against that Tennessee defense, Gabriel Davis has a 100-yard game, no doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
And Davis, Diggs, they all have a 100-yard game. Allen will have probably 100 yards rushing. He's just gonna have a field day. He says an ankle injury on Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday walkthrough. Yeah.
Honestly, if Gabe Davis and if Davis Diggs play, Allen's gonna have 100 yards each of them. McKenzie will probably almost be close to it. He's just gonna sit there and pick apart the Tennessee defense, because if I'm not mistaken, I think last year or the year before, Tennessee came into Buffalo and smacked them around. And Josh Allen has proven that when he plays against teams that he had bad losses against, he goes out there and just destroys them. This is a repost.
What's a repost?
That's for you.
Eckler for Swift. Let's make the trade. No, I'm not trading Swift.
I already said that I'm probably gonna be 0-2 versus John this year after this week. My team's falling apart with injuries. I already got 3 injuries.
That's all right. The big one was last week. Was week 1 in our dynasty league. Playing the back-to-back champ in our dynasty league. I come out and crush Sean by 40 points. Don't even bother showing up the rest of the year, bud.
My team didn't show up, and I already lost. I lost Dak Prescott, and then I made the biggest trade of the year already this week. That Monday night trade I made. I don't even know how I got that to go down, but I traded Dak Prescott injured. I traded Alvin Kamara injured, and I traded whoever the other guy was, Godwin. I traded Godwin. He's injured. I traded 3 injured players, and I got Carson Wentz, Javonte Williams on the Broncos, and I got Juju Smith.
Yeah.
And then I traded Juju Smith anyways.
Oh.
he lasted a day.
How would he trade?
So I'm just looking. Still nothing new coming out here, news wise. So let's see if there's any more questions. What do you want for Swift? He should be on the golf end. Nothing. I'm not giving him up.
You got to at least get 3 golf burgers
I want $100 million cash
and a golf burger.
and an unlimited supply of golf burgers.
Oh yeah. You gotta have the golf burgers. That's the key thing. Like if you don't have the golf burgers, it's kind of a waste of time.
All right, let's check our Discord. I think there was a question over there from yesterday where you guys answered it, but let's just look to see what it was. Oops. Let's make this bigger. He says pick 2. Right now he's got Bateman and Miles Sanders in at his flex spots. Pittman's out, but he's got Burkhead, Jacobs, Harris, Julio. Julio's out now, right?
Yeah, Julio's out now.
I wouldn't play Shepard either. So anybody you're switching out in place of Bateman or Sanders? So let's see, Burkhead, Jacobs, or Harris. Really?
Honestly, I'm going to switch out Sanders for Burkhead. I would do that. That's my opinion. Just because I wouldn't trust Sanders. I mean, he had his first touchdown in over a full calendar season for him. So he's not going to sit there and go back-to-back games with a touchdown after going over a full season. So I would just consider that. And I mean, I don't know. I still don't like any Baltimore wide receiver.
Yeah, I know Bateman did have a touchdown last week, but playing Miami this week. So that's definitely a tougher matchup. Harold says the Jets ain't even worth the golf burger. That's all right.
Oof.
That's all right.
I gotta get a golf burger to eat on stream.
We should. Okay, I'm gonna work on something, but that's okay.
Oh God.
Oh man. So let's go back. Let's look at some of our projections this week. Allen rated number 1 this week. Hurts 2, Mahomes and Herbert 3 and 4. That was Thursday night. Mahomes killed me. He only had like 220 something yards. He was the reason I lost my parlay pick. I had him going over 275, and he did not get there. The other 3 I hit on. But yeah, guys, who are some of your favorite matchups for quarterbacks this week?
Mine's down at the bottom there, Carson Wentz. I just think Carson Wentz has found his home. I really do. Now that Dak Prescott is injured, if Washington somehow, some way this year can win 8 to 9 games, they could be contending for the division.
I agree with that.
I mean, they went out week 1, blew the lead, lost it by I think it was like 8 points or something, and then came back down the field and scored back-to-back touchdowns like it was nothing. So Washington could be a contender for the division. I mean, the Giants could be. That division now with Dak Prescott down for 6 weeks, 6 to 8, it's wide open. I mean, the Eagles are the Eagles. They always find a way to choke. The Giants are the Giants. We don't really know what we have because of injuries, but I mean, they just went into Tennessee and beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that right there is a great win. And like I said, if Carson Wentz can win today against the Lions, which it's not going to be an easy win if they do, but if he can go into Detroit and win on the road, start the season out 2-0, he's automatically, after 2 weeks, he's still in with the division lead. And I mean, if the Eagles were to lose on Monday night and say the Giants win today, the Giants and Commanders 1-2 in a division, come on now. Who sat here and said after 2 weeks that you could possibly have the Giants and the Commanders both undefeated? I want to know who put that down on paper.
Nobody.
I mean, that Commander schedule is pretty light to open up the year.
Well,
I wouldn't put it past any team to be able to beat Jacksonville and Detroit. Have to get up really early in the morning to not be able to at least compete in those 2 games. But
I mean, they completely flipped it around last week. Jacksonville came back, took the lead in the fourth quarter, and then Washington Washington just took over
That
after
finish was
that.
electric too.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're a Commanders fan, that had to be one of the most exciting weeks you've had in a while. So it's no hate. I don't know if that necessarily legit. Yo, him calling Herbert getting hurt. I was literally sitting here thinking about that during the game. I'm like, there ain't no way this dude is sitting here hurt after what I just read in the chat earlier today.
Well, if you look at the Commanders' schedule, I mean, next week they do play the Eagles, but then they go and play Dallas in Dallas. So Carson Wentz could win that. Then they go play Tennessee. They could win that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play at Chicago. They could win that. And then that's from there is where they have like a rough schedule. They play Green Bay, Indy, and Minnesota, and then play Eagles again on Monday Night Football, I believe. But then they go back to the easy part of their schedule. They play Houston, Atlanta, the Giants, and then have a bye week, and then play the Giants again. So twice in 3 weeks they play the Giants. Then they play Trey Lance and the Niners. Then they play Cleveland and end the season with Dallas. So honestly, looking at their schedule, I see them being able to. They could honestly contend for 8 to 10 wins.
Amar saying Philly winning the East.
Yeah.
Yes, on paper they should win the East, but
they're definitely the favorites to win right now.
On paper, but say they lose, Eagles lose tomorrow night and the Giants win, and Commanders, and say the Commanders next week go beat the Eagles, they have a 2-game lead on them and the tiebreaker.
Right?
So technically, they have a 3-game lead over the Eagles already 3 weeks into the season. I mean, that can be
down to those matchups.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't win your division matchups, you're not winning your division.
Right.
Yeah. Whoever wins those key matchups between those three, I feel like will probably, because honestly, this division could be won by a team that has anywhere from 6 to 10 wins, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, seriously, the fact that there's even 3 teams that are 1-0 right now, it's like, enjoy it while it lasts. And trust me, I'll do the same as the Seahawks fan sitting at 1-0 in the NFC West at the very top by ourselves for now. I'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the AFC South.
If and that's what it is. If the Eagles should win the division, if they stay healthy, if Hurts stops running the football.
Look at the AFC South.
And if A.J. Brown can stay healthy, because A.J. Brown's one of the most injured wide receivers in the entire NFL every season.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, the AFC South, they lost every single game last week, and they only played each other. Only the 2 teams played each other. So you look at
each other.
That division, honestly, I mean, Houston could win that division or Jacksonville. If Jacksonville doesn't blow that lead, they're 1-0. I mean, they already got a head start.
Yeah, I think over the season, though, Indy will end up separating themselves a little bit. And probably Tennessee, too, just because they have some more consistent stars on offense. I don't see Jacksonville or
me, honestly, I think only way that Indy wins the division is if Jonathan Taylor does what he did last year and stays healthy all season.
See, they still have a far better defense than anybody else in that division.
They do.
I agree. I think Taylor's got to stay healthy.
They do, but you got to look at it this way: if Matt Ryan has Jonathan Taylor banged up, he has no running back really to depend on besides Nyheim Hines, and he's not going to sit there and he's not going to be able to throw the ball 40 times a game and not have at least 2 interceptions. I
mean, but that's pretty much the same situation. Trevor Lawrence hasn't developed nearly to the point, I think, where people's expectations were. Davis Mills. I mean, Davis Mills is probably the most consistent quarterback in that division right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence, I don't think had a bad week 1.
He didn't have a bad week, but that's not the number one. The number 1 overall pick that they were talking about, the generational talent, does not go in there and lose to Carson Wentz's Commanders. And I'll just say that. It's not even year 1. It's not Urban Meyer, and I get it's a new coach and everything like that. But you're also talking about a coach who won a Super Bowl. So, I mean.
Yeah, but you also got to think about this.
Old coach, or literally coach and quarterback. That wasn't talked about enough that Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz were playing last week.
I look at it this way, though. You can't blame Trevor Lawrence because he went in there and did his stuff on offense.
He did have a couple of late, too.
Yeah, but if his defense sits there and gives up 4 touchdowns on him, you can't really complain and say that it's his fault. I mean, when you're going out there and you're getting your team, you got your team in the lead late in the fourth quarter, and then they give up 2 back-to-back touchdowns quick. I mean, he did what he had to do. Can you see what Trevor Lawrence's stats were for last week there?
Yeah.
What he averaged?
For me, Jacksonville's just one of those teams where it's like they're gonna have to prove something to me before I even put them in like maybe. At least the Giants and the Commanders I could see from week 1. It's like, okay, I get why it would be a little. They had some exciting plays, Saquon bursting off big runs, and then
Trevor Lawrence was 24 of 42. That's 57%. 275 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
Yeah, I mean, and his interception was early in the game. I think it was like the second drive for them. So, I mean, he still put up 275. He's playing with 2
attempts, though.
He's playing with 2 running backs that both are coming off ACL tears.
That's true.
And
he actually looked pretty decent, though. He had a couple bad plays, but he had some good plays, too.
And he's playing with a wide receiver that was new to the team, Christian Kirk, and he's playing with Zay Jones, who's new to the team, Evan Ingram, new to the team. So, I mean, his whole offense was practically new to him because he only played with James Robinson last year. So, I think if this week Trevor Lawrence goes out and whoever they play, they get smoked, and it's all because Trevor Lawrence, and I can see why. But if Trevor Lawrence goes out this week, throws for 275 to 300 yards again, you can't sit here and say he's a dud because he's probably outperforming Lamar Jackson in passing yards. And
I wouldn't call him a dud. I just think there's high especially for Lawrence. I think he's probably got the highest expectations of any first-round pick over the last 5, probably the highest expectation since Andrew Luck.
Right.
So I think
no, I wouldn't say highest expectation. I wouldn't say since Andrew Luck. I would say probably since he has the highest expectation since probably Joe Burrow. Carson Wentz.
No, Burrow did not have the expectations that they put on.
That was one year.
Trevor
that was
Lawrence.
Out of nowhere. Lawrence was
even when Joe Burrow was going talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and even when Joe Burrow was getting drafted, they were talking about Trevor Lawrence coming out in a few seasons. Like Trevor Lawrence wasn't even just talked about for 1 year. They were talking about Trevor Lawrence for years before he was even eligible. I don't keep up with college as much, but I hadn't seen much like the Trevor Lawrence situation that I can even really remember. They had been talking about him being the top pick for consistent seasons. And then a lot of the times you see those guys like Thibodeau, he was supposed to be the top pick coming. Like if we started last year, everybody was talking about Thibodeau being the first overall pick. And over that one season, it changed. Same thing with Joe Burrow. Nobody saw him going that highly before the season. But Lawrence, for a couple of years consistently, was going to be the top pick, and it stayed that way. So I think that and not that it's too early. I mean, it is way too early to say that he's going to be a bust or anything like that. I just think there are definitely higher expectations on him than a lot of the other guys that we're looking at.
His expectations were also higher because he was a Heisman winner and a defending champion and then in the championship back-to-back years. I mean, his expectations were higher. But I still think that you can't sit here and blame him when Jacksonville never would do anything to help his offense. I mean, if the guy
that's why this year there's no excuses because they did everything.
Yeah,
for the offense.
A lot of guys.
And they did what they had to do to help him. And then, like I said, week 1, he went out there on offense and did what he had to do. I mean, he didn't go out there.
He could have done a little bit more, though, if we're being real. Nearly 57%. Like, it's not like he had great stats either. Yeah, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with the new receivers and stuff like that, because that's one of the reasons I was talking about Denver going to struggle week 1. So I definitely understand that these pieces are going to take some time to fit in. But
my thing is I look at it this way: if you look at Trevor Lawrence, yeah, you might have thrown 57%, but out of those, 18 drops or whatever it was, how many of those 18 incompletions were drops or on the receiver's hands?
Right. True.
There's no stat line to sit here and say that he could have been 32 for 45 or 35 for 45. He could have thrown the ball 10 times to a running back or a receiver and they dropped it. I mean, I know for
he did have
2 or 3 of I know 2 or 3 of them he threw out to Etienne and he just dropped them. Or I know Christian Kirk
One of them
dropped 1
throws
or
was
2 of
bad
them.
though. Lawrence did not put one of them on him because he had a touchdown. I did
Yeah.
see Etienne's highlights, so there was one that definitely. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's early in the season too. Like we were saying, it's going to take probably a good few weeks to really get into seeing what some of these teams really even are before we start to really see the real versions of some of these teams.
Mhm.
You get them fake versions a little early, especially in September, because it's the easiest time to be on the field. It's the easiest time for offenses to perform, and then injuries are just a natural part of the game. There are going to be teams that are a lot different looking even 5 weeks from. Look at the Cowboys from this week to last week. I bet those Cowboys fans are not feeling the same way they were going into the game last week.
Right.
Because, I mean, you just can't. And that's not even
I mean-
a shot at anybody. You just, how are you even supposed to feel the same way when you don't have your quarterback? And there's going to be a lot of situations like that around the league. So it's just an early season. It's all going to be about who can weather those storms.
Like I don't know. I just think that it comes down to week 1. To me, week 1 through 3 is really your decision on who's going to be good for the year and where you could be for your division. Because if you start out the season 0-3, you're not going to come back and win a division
Right.
unless you have a division that's 1-2 as a leader. It's like the Cowboys. If they start out the year 0-3 or 0-4, you're not coming back with Dak. It don't matter if Dak plays or not. You're not going to sit here and be able to come back when if he says he's out 8 weeks, say he's out the full 8 weeks. There's no way you're coming back if you're 3-5 to win that division, unless the division's 3-5 or 4-4 or something. But if you're more than 2-3 games back halfway through the season, it's unless you have to play that team 2 times, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, let me just
But-
look at some of the headlines going on here before we get too far in. This hour is flying by, so if anybody in the chat does have any fantasy-related questions, let us know. We'll get those answered. But yeah, it says the Ravens are officially holding out J.K. Dobbins. So I wonder if he could go. But
He said he could play, but I don't think they're not going to risk it.
Yeah, why even bother?
Why sit here and risk an injury because he's coming back from an ACL tear? I mean, that's kind of like James Robinson. The Jaguars put him out there for how many plays last week, but the guy is coming back from an ACL injury tore in December. He came back 2 months earlier than what he was expected. It's not worth. I don't know. To me, it's not worth ruining someone's career. I mean, there's been how many careers ruined because you come back from an injury and you get re-injured, and from there you're just downhill.
yeah, Amar here saying Dak's coming back before week 4. That
No,
would
he's
be
not.
dumb.
Yeah, I don't see that. I mean,
Smelly official is now following us. Thank you.
hey,
Yes, all officials are smelly. So
To me, he says that Robinson was a top 10 running back last week. Yeah, he was because he had a touchdown. He didn't put up the yards that he needed to be a top 10 running back without that touchdown.
I will say Jacksonville definitely did a lot to help. I'm going to be curious to see if that continues in their offense because they and the Broncos were 2 teams that stood out to me as teams that might be helpful with fantasy PPR and stuff like that. They were feeding their running backs catches a lot.
let's see here.
Smelly
Yeah,
official says Cortland Sutton or Brandon Ayuk. To me, Cortland Sutton, just because Brandon Ayuk's been playing a tsunami.
Yeah, I don't think that I wouldn't go with. I'm a Seahawks fan, and I'm not going with a lot of high hopes for like anybody. I actually was thinking about benching Tyler Lockett literally right this second because I just don't see the point.
And I have Sutton projected at 6 catches, 75 yards, and 70% chance at a touchdown. Where Ayuk, I don't have anywhere close to that. But let me get the numbers here.
Amar says that Dak would have been put on IR if it's going to be more than 4 weeks. Not necessarily, because they could still put him on IR this week, and he could still be out for the whole week 6, like they said he was going to be. They're not going to put him on. They're not going to throw him on IR for the fact that they really don't have a backup quarterback anyway. So it doesn't really change the fact that coming and going, because it's the same as Michael Gallup. He's been out the first 2 weeks so far, and they could have thrown him on IR
And took
for
him
4
off
weeks.
week 4. Yeah.
And took him off week 4, but he could be out for all 4 of those weeks and just be sitting there. Dak Dak can't be thrown on IR for the fact that then he can't go out there and practice with the team.
Right.
He could still be out. He could still be out there and be mobile. He just can't be throwing a football or something. So there's reasons why teams put players on IR. I mean, I think the Niners put Mitchell on IR because it's a knee injury, so he can't go out there and practice. But a quarterback can still go out there and do practice stuff.
Ayuk, just to go back to Smelly Official, Ayuk, I have it 4 catches, 50 yards, and a 50% chance at a touchdown, but that doesn't factor in the weather, like Sean and Ryan were saying. Looking like 30-mile-an-hour winds, rain, definitely some thunderstorms during the game. So I would definitely stay away from my Ayuk there.
Trey Lance about to have 100 yards passing, 10 yards rushing, 6 sacks.
And Seattle moves to 2-0 with a 17.
Rashad Penny revenge. I'm telling you. Oh, that man actually might go off tonight though, because Damian Lewis is coming back at left guard and Kenneth Walker is getting his debut. I can't. It's gonna be an exciting day. What a perfect day for it to be a horrible weather day for the Seahawks. Literally, I think everything is just coming together. If this goes the way I think it could. Oh, Amar. You're gonna be hearing a lot.
It's just crazy to think that, say the Niners, if the Niners were to win, which I honestly can't really say they're going to win because it's Trey Lance. I hate Trey Lance. I've hated him since he was drafted. But if, say, the Niners were to win and the Rams were to win and Arizona somehow wins that game, you could have that division at 1-1 after 2 weeks and be a complete even. Or you could be that you could have 3 teams at 1-1 and Arizona or San Francisco could possibly be 0-2. But
San Fran's 0-2, and Seattle's 2-0 and leads the division.
He says I hate Trey Lance, but love Trevor Lawrence. I hate Trey Lance for the fact that he played nobody in college. I said he was drafted way too soon. He was a second-round quarterback at most when he was drafted, and I don't think he has anything to do with being a starter.
And I'm sorry that year they traded up to 3. It had to be for Fields. You don't give up that much stuff and pass on Fields.
Trey Lance in that draft will be that year of drafting. I'm pretty sure Trey Lance is still the worst quarterback out of that draft that got drafted and didn't go undrafted. I mean, I think there might even be undrafted quarterbacks that played better than Trey Lance so far.
Wait, well, who were all the quarterbacks in that one? Because I don't think anyone.
Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, Fields. It wasn't those were all first rounders. Mills,
Mac Jones,
Mills was in that. Oh, Mac Jones.
Davis Mills has been
draft.
the best one, and all the other ones, to be honest, could honestly be in the same category of they've done absolutely nothing. So Trey Lance has had the least opportunity, I will say, but he's also probably on the best team.
Dalvin Cook.
No,
that's not even a debate.
Dalvin Cook or Fournette. I have CMC as Parker. Man, how do you have all 4 of them?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably a dynasty league.
Probably a dynasty league.
He says that Trey Lance beat Mills, which isn't possible because Davis Mills has been going off since he was a rookie. He's close. He could sit here and say that Zach Wilson debate, but Zach Wilson's also been injured and had COVID for half the time. And he's not better than Mac Jones.
They've all
because
we can try and dress them all up, but they've all
but Mac Jones also carried the Patriots to 9 wins last year?
He didn't carry that.
I was gonna say he didn't carry anybody.
They won a game where he made 2 pass attempts.
Well, I can't say he carried them, but he also did what he had to do to win the game.
No,
the rest of the team did what they had to do.
Yeah, Belichick did. Yeah, he stayed out of he kept the ball away from his own hands, and that's how they won the game.
But he says that Mills and Lance compared to first start, Lance is better. Lance was not better in his first start. Even though he beat him, Lance defense is better than the Texans.
So far, out of all the quarterbacks that were taken last year, Mills is the most impressive to me.
Yeah, I without a doubt. I think Mills is on.
It doesn't mean he's going to have the best career. It's just better start to his career.
I mean, Davis Mills is going to have probably the best 4-year career because he's going to get released after the 4th year on the Texans. They're just going to go draft another quarterback.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I mean,
Mills was a quarterback that there was a lot of love for as an underrated quarterback, even around draft time. So it's not even like he was just some guy that nobody knew about. He just wasn't a first round pick. But then again, 5 first round quarterbacks, and a lot of them have had some time, and it's not like any of them have actually really been. I mean, every year usually you get at least one rookie where it's like, oh wow, okay, that guy I see as something, and you can really separate them. I'm not separating Mac Jones from these other guys because he made a playoff run, because he wasn't good.
Right.
He hasn't been good at all. Like, not even like to the point of being like a really solid game manager with some moments or anything like that. Like, he's been there, and they didn't even look competitive in their one playoff appearance. So, like, yeah, you got them to that part with one of the greatest head coaches we've ever seen, but can you do anything else?
In the draft class for that year with Trevor Lawrence went 1, obviously Wilson 2, and Fields. Then you have Trey Lance and Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Davis Mills, and Kellen Mond. Well, Kyle Trask is a backup to Tom Brady. He's not going to start until Tom Brady's obviously gone.
Yeah,
Kellen Mond got released by Minnesota because there was no chance of him really starting. There was no point in even, I don't know, they wasted a draft pick there.
Well, no, he played horrible in the preseason too.
That too, yeah, he was horrible. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you compare all those quarterbacks, you sit here and say that Mon and Trask are obviously the only two that are out of it. But I would say Wilson and Lance are towards the bottom of that. So I would rank them probably 5th and 6th out of it. But I'm still going to give Wilson the advantage because Wilson at least goes out there and has had big games and had good games. Trey Lance has had 4 career starts and has been a dud in all 4. I don't even think Trey Lance has. Like I said, I think he's 1-3. And
I don't even know. I don't follow San Francisco enough to know exactly what his record is. But
Trey Lance last year had 603 yards on 57% completions, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
That's not bad.
But you think about it, that's in I don't know how many starts. I think it was 5 starts.
And who played too? Because it's so hard to keep up with the Niners, and like we could say like, oh, he had this guy and this guy, but who knows if those guys even played in that game? Because every year Debo's good to miss maybe a game or 2, and Kittle's definitely going to miss at least 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean he started 2 games last year.
He started 2 games, but then he came in for one other one.
Okay, how'd the starts go too? That's an important part, like because that's being ready and prepared to come in versus a lot of these other quarterbacks who were named week 1 starters.
He started, let's see. Well, he didn't start that, but he had 1 pass completion on 1 attempt in Detroit. Then he came in against Green Bay, but had 0 pass attempts, only 1 rush attempt. He had 9 of 18 for 150 yards against Seattle, 2 touchdowns.
He had some moments in that game. I remember that one.
He was against Arizona. He played 15 of 29 for 190 yards and had an interception. And then he came in against Jacksonville, only had 3 rush attempts for 4 yards. And then he had his first career win finally against Houston, 16 of 23 for 250, had a touchdown and a yard. The only thing benefiting him is that he has 38 carries for 168 yards. He's averaging 4 yards a carry.
And I will say, if we're talking about those 5 guys, if there was a guy that even around draft time you would have said is the most project quarterback, it was Trey Lance. Like if there's somebody who had to be molded the most, it was Lance. So it's not that you give him extra benefit or that changes where we're at right now. I would just say that as far as potential goes, I still think that his is on the higher side. Him and Justin Fields. Fields has his own things that he's got to clean up. I enjoyed all the quarterbacks, honestly, other than Mac Jones in that specific draft class. I thought all could be successful with the right situations. Oh, I actually believed in Zach Wilson too, and then the Jets drafted him, and then I was worried that he would never, ever do anything. But I'm rooting for him still.
But to me, if you think about it, Trey Lance has Deebo Samuel, has Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, has good running back, great offensive line, and you're still not winning, and a good defense, where Justin Fields has a terrible offensive line, only really has Darnell Mooney, and has a mediocre defense, and is playing decent enough for what he is doing and what he can do, and just beat Trey Lance.
Yeah, but that week 1 game is such an anomaly in that Soldier Field. We will never see another game like that, most likely, for the entire rest of the year.
If you sit here and say the 49ers don't have a great offensive line, I don't know what you're smoking.
Well,
They don't.
Alex,
Last year they did. This year they do not.
I was
They
going to
lost
say,
Laken Tomlinson.
things have changed, and I know Alex Mack was not that good last year.
But they
that's
still
all I
have
heard from Amar all season was about Alex Mack.
But
completely
but if
blowing things for them.
We're still sitting here comparing. You still have Davis Mills, who's on the Texans, full rebuild every single years.
Yeah, they have a good left tackle too, though. So,
but
Well,
and then
Trent Williams, everyone else is a first-time starter.
And the Jets, if you look at with Wilson, when they drafted Wilson, the Jets completely rebuilt around Wilson. So I think if Wilson would have been injured, if wasn't injured this year, I think Wilson would have had a good year. I do think so. I said that all offseason. I predicted the Jets to go possibly 4-5-0 to start the year.
With Zach is just his build at this point.
But if you look at Trey Lance, he has the best team out of all of them.
He does, but it's also, but just like how you said they build around Zach Wilson, that's Trey Lance's team is the only team that's not built around him at all.
But
you're somebody else.
You think about it. You got thrown. Well, Trey Lance was drafted with the running backs he was with, so he's playing with the same youth running backs. George Kittle's top 5 tight end went healthy
though, and the same thing with the running backs went healthy. Every one of their running backs is in and out of the lineup from
Deebo Samuel wasn't really around till last year. We knew of Deebo, but he
was good, and then last year he was amazing.
And Brandon Ayuk was decent and has been a mediocre receiver.
I was going to say Ayuk's just been disappointing, especially because I do think he has a good skill set.
Yeah, but Mitchell and Kittle are out, obviously. But Trey Lance last week literally had the game locked up in the third quarter, winning 10-0 in a monsoon throwing a football. I mean, why are you throwing a football in a monsoon up 10-0? You punt that football instead of throwing a pick six. It wasn't a pick six, but it was a pick and the next play touchdown. So it pretty much equaled out. And then went down the field and didn't do anything, punted the ball back. And then from there, it was just 3 and out. I mean, he literally had the chance to win the game last week. Would have been looked at differently, but instead he went out there and pretty much lost the game for them. So to me, until Trey Lance can go out there and single-handedly help his team win, I just don't think I'll look at Trey Lance as a good quarterback. I mean,
yeah, but that I guess is my whole point is there any single quarterback from that 5 that we're talking about? I mean, Davis Mills aside, is there any from the top 5 that we're talking about that you would put the ball in their hands in the fourth quarter and be like, yeah, that guy's going to go out there and get it done? Because Trevor Lawrence just lost to Carson Wentz in week 1, too, in perfect weather. And Carson Wentz has all the same excuses that Trevor Lawrence would have, too. Brand new receivers, brand new team. So it's not like you can be like one was better than the other. And then if you go around the league, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and who's the one that I'm missing off the top of my head? But they never really had their moments to say like, oh, okay, this guy's got something in them either. Like Mac Jones' literal biggest win is that 2-pass game against the Bills.
If you just
that.
I was gonna say the Baltimore kickoff return. If you have Duvernay in your lineup, you just got 6 points possibly, depending on what happens. And then the first play on offense on the kick return on the Panthers game, the Panthers fumbled on the kickoff, and the Giants have it in the red zone already.
Fucking go, Giants.
Man. Not a good start for me.
And to go off note, Jameis Winston's playing with 4 fractured ribs today.
Dog.
Why?
Eating W's. Absolute dog.
If you can't say that he doesn't care. I mean, you're sitting out there playing with 4 fractured ribs, and you're back, and your starting running back who has a rib contusion isn't even playing. That just shows right there that Jameis Winston cares more about football than Kamara.
Eating
I mean,
W's.
he
he
asked
said.
that man. I think Jameis still got something to prove. Wants to prove to, I think, the entire league that he could still be the guy that he was drafted to be, or at least
Mhm.
something close to that.
Chuba Hubbard was the one that fumbled the football too.
Was he? Was he out there? He was really out there for the return.
On
He's
return,
he's
huh?
their kickoff returner.
Do you know if Pittsburgh beats New England today, Belichick, the Patriots and Belichick will be 0-2? Do you know when the last time Belichick started off 0-2?
The year Tom Brady came to starting quarterback.
2001.
Wow.
Correct. So, man, let's oh, now I'm just getting that. They're showing that replay. Oh my goodness. It fumbled him right to the Giants player.
Yeah, he should have went down right away. He should have went down after the first one, and he kept moving around, and it was just bad news. Once you start running around like that, it's just the bad news.
For real though.
So we'll stay with this for a couple of the opening drives here.
Yeah, we'll see some of the stuff that goes down. Definitely should be some. The Saints were another team that I was going to tell people to watch out for today. I mean, obviously, that's not like a big revelation. They're 4-0 against Tom Brady in the regular season.
Well, and that was from our streams last year. I predicted the Saints to beat Tampa Bay last year. Sean called me a clown live on stream, and the Saints shut him out that week. I mean, it was only 6-0, but they shut Tom Brady out.
Tom Brady's can't beat the Saints. I don't know why.
How
come in the chat it doesn't show when the football scores?
Oh,
it was doing it Thursday night.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me check.
And the Giants got a field goal out of that. They went 3 yards.
But that's all right.
Wow.
That's three free points right there.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to play it safe though too, especially when you got a quarterback like Daniel Jones. That's how the play calling is going to go. You'd rather get 3 yards and kick a field goal than risk trying to get 20 yards and turn the ball back over.
But I'm pretty sure Saquon only got 1 carry out of those attempts. Like, why are you went 3 yards? But you went 3 yards and you only gave him once.
Yeah, but it's a free possession in the red zone. I actually don't mind the Giants. Maybe they tried something. So you know what? We're already in the red zone. Let's see if we can make a play. They get. I know it's only the first quarter. They get the ball to start the second half now.
Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. You basically just start off. If it was a different quarterback, I would be more like, oh, okay. Like if you're talking about like the Seahawks with Russell Wilson, I'd be mad that that's a 3-point play drive. Seahawks with Geno Smith, I'm like, let's go. We're up by 3 points to start the game. It's too like with Daniel Jones, I think you're just happy to be in a position where you can already start the play to protect the lead.
Sean, I'll have to check. I'm not sure why we're not getting the scores in the chat. It's not showing up, so I wonder if there's a problem with the website or something.
Nice little wide receiver screen.
Did you see Tyrod Taylor suing the Chargers?
Yes, I did see that.
He's suing the day. How is that man? The Chargers are another one of those franchises, and this is exactly why they have stuff like losing consistent games by like a score and heartbreaking fashion, because they do stuff like keeping a freaking doctor who punctured your ex-quarterback's lung. How does he still have it? How does he still have a job? Like that doesn't make any. He's working on your new quarterback right now.
Right.
You gotta be kidding me. There's reasons why teams like the Browns and the Chargers are the pit of misery that they are, and it's stuff just like this.
So I agree with you.
Like that blew my mind. The fact that
They
he still
promise those, and Matt Ryan goes and throws another interception.
Man, I
don't get Matt Ryan.
I think that the Colts GM has done I don't understand that either. How are you so good at building an entire roster and then you forget 2 of the most important positions, which are quarterback and wide receiver? They have one that you could even say has ever developed into anything, and that's Pittman. And then you just switch quarterback after quarterback out, and you still haven't found one that's actually good.
Right. Let me check. Trying to see why I'm not getting scores here in the chat.
And they're one of the only teams to never even bother to even take a shot on one of these other quarterbacks either. Like, they could have easily taken a shot on any of these QBs over the years. They could have been the team that drafted Davis Mills in the second or third round. Instead, he's over. If they have Davis Mills instead of Matt Ryan, I think people are a lot more excited about the next couple of years of Indianapolis football. Because then you got something to look forward to. I don't understand their whole strategy of just band-aiding the quarterback position every year. That's the last position in football you want to try and band-aid.
Well, they're playing in Jacksonville, and it's been 8 years since Indy's won in Jacksonville. So,
And
the upset,
that's its
the
own.
upset of the day right there in the making.
Definitely a possible. I don't know what their issue is there.
They just hate Jacksonville.
We are Commanders.
Nothing compares to last year. Nothing compares to last year. Jacksonville knocking Indy out of the playoffs. I think that was the best thing ever.
Oh, win and you're in for multiple straight weeks with a quarterback that you gave up a first-round pick for because you kept playing him, and then you don't even make the playoffs. And no first-round pick. And no Carson Wentz. What a franchise. That doesn't get talked about enough either. Give him a first-round pick for a quarterback who didn't even make it off the roster that year.
That's the only thing that stinks about having 2 Monday night games. There's only 7 or 6 games going on. 7 games.
That's okay.
Yeah, there will be a lot of period here and there, but
5 4 o'clock games. That's a lot of 4 o'clock games.
Yeah, that is a lot of 4 o'clock games.
I hope they continue spreads like that instead of doing like 7 to 9 on like a 1 o'clock and then only 3 or 4. Then 4 o'clock stretches can get rough. Having 5 or 6 could actually probably do a little bit. I mean, if you're a red zone watcher like me, I don't know how anybody could just sit through football and not just want to watch every single play.
I think it comes down to is what games are in what area codes. Like Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh only plays 1 o'clock games all year.
All on the East Coast, yeah.
All East Coast games. So
it looks like they know there's an issue. I just checked their Twitter, so it looks like they know there's an issue with their scores not loading.
We say no.
Yeah, so they're trying to get it fixed. It looked like the Patriots were about to have a nice run, and then my whole thing froze.
Wow.
Even there, Mac Jones doesn't have the worst offensive line. Guys like David Andrews, Trent Brown, they just brought back last season, but they don't have the worst offensive line. Now, their skill positions could probably use some work, but that's welcome to New England.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a bad throw on Tua there. I don't even know why you're throwing that. Miami's trying to lose. After last week, everyone was high on them, and
that was Miami Super Bowl last week.
Yep, 1 win.
I think Miami could end up being a good team. It really just depends on Tua. Like, he doesn't even have to be good. You have such talent around you that all you have to do is protect the football. Mm-hmm. He's got probably the fastest core of players around him that you will see anywhere. And that's not just Tyreek Hill. You're talking about guys like Raheem Mostert, who worked a long time with the Miami coach over in San Fran. So I think they can really do some good things, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on Tua being a good quarterback. He just has to be able to get the ball to Waddle and Tyreek Hill in ways, and that can come down to McDaniel as much as it comes down to Tua. Because if they can create ways to just cause openings. I watched Denver do stuff with Russell Wilson on Monday night that I'd been dying to see Seattle do with Russell Wilson for 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, those motions and stuff with those wide open running backs, that's the kind of stuff that I've been saying if they'd given to Russell Wilson back in, like, 2016, 2017, he would have been in more conversations for the MVP. But I think it depends on where he's at when he comes back to reality. Because
big play in the Detroit game.
Even they confused the camera there. Jeez, they confused everybody.
Man, what in the world happened there? They're not showing it, but Cleveland's marching right down the field on the Jets.
Yeah, they haven't shown it yet on Red Zone.
Got the ball at the 10. Cleveland is 8 plays already down to the Jet 23-yard line.
Yeah, Nick Chubb and Brissett are just dragging him right down the field.
Who was that? I caught the end of the Detroit play. Who was that?
50-yard catch.
And Garrett Wilson's playing, right? How was he week 1?
He was okay. There were at least 3 plays that if Joe Flacco was a little bit better quarterback, where he was wide open for touchdowns.
Yeah. I really feel of all the teams that you gotta feel for this year, it's gotta be like, come on. When you gotta start week 1 with a guy like Joe Flacco, a quarterback, like I feel for Jets fans right now. I really do. I can't believe I genuinely thought that Joe Flacco was like not done, like, oh, I thought he retired, but I genuinely never thought to see the day where a team would give him another like starting opportunity. I'm surprised he even lasted because he was a backup. I think where was it, Philly?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, because I thought they had him over Gardner. That was blowing my mind too. Speaking of quarterbacks who should be probably doing at least something I just want to know if Gardner can play or not without the ramifications of Jacksonville and all that they have going on. That's a guy I'd like to see if he can actually do some things.
Yeah.
And the Buccaneers' first pass attempt goes to Scotty Miller. There's going to be if anyone started anybody, it's going to be a crazy game for the fact that there's really no front runner for who wants to be on the starting quarterback or starting wide receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in theory, you'd think that it would be somebody like Russell Gage, but we'll see.
You would think.
Cleveland's got the ball. It just went to the game on my screen, but Cleveland's got the ball at the Jet 12-yard line.
Cleveland could be 2-0.
Yep.
Cleveland
So
rolling here.
Meatball's
with-
got a little,
The Jets.
Meatball's got a little fantasy question if you guys got a second. Between Joe Burrow and Kyler Murray, I'm kind of in a little debate in my head myself because I don't know how Kyler Murray's going to do against the pass rush there in Oakland or Vegas. My God.
I think Joe Burrow.
That's what I was thinking too, but I was trying to get opinions from the squad.
I don't like Kyler Murray at all. Not this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Not-
without D-Hop for a couple weeks, it might be a rough
Yeah.
start to the season.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got at least go until D Hop's not back.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it now. I do have Murray projected a little bit higher, but that one's tough because I could see Cincinnati blowing out Dallas,
That's
and then
my
Burrow
problem.
not needing to pass as much.
But I could
The fact
also
that
see them breaking off a couple big plays and that really
Right,
being
true.
really all you need to do. And they will definitely get a lot more offensive possessions than
True.
I mean the Colts or not the Colts. The Cowboys are going to run the ball a lot. It's just a matter of how successful they are running the ball.
I'm not sure how the Giants got the ball back, but the Giants are at the 29-yard line with 1st and 10.
Hey! Let's go, John. I want to talk.
What
I
in the
can't wait to
world
talk
is
to
going
Cobra.
on with the Giants?
I don't know
can't
how they
wait
got
to
the
talk
ball.
to Cobra.
I mean, Daniel Jones is 5 for 5 for 11 yards. That's some great stat, Pat. But I mean, Baker Mayfield 2 for 3 for 2 yards too.
2 for 3 for 2 yards.
Oh, this is the Barkley and CMC game. I don't know if anybody looked at this and didn't think that it
Jets
was going
game.
to be.
Nick Chubb with the rushing touchdown.
There
I'll
you
take
go.
That's fantasy points for this guy.
I think everybody here has
Eh.
Nick Chubb in at least one league.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown for me had already a 50-yard
Everybody
catch. I feel bad for you, John. It's gonna be ugly.
Why? Well, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the other league, so
That's all right. I'm not worried about that. I'm not playing you this week.
no, you already
Wow,
lost to me. So
I got to make up for it, so I'm gonna have to beat you by like 50. So it equals out.
yeah, but you after St. Brown, you don't have anybody else playing this week, do you?
Yeah, I do. I still have my quarterback. I still have a quarterback, and that's pretty much it because everyone else is injured.
Oh yeah, I felt that. My running back room is in the sleeper league is oh my god. I want to cry every time I go back to the sleeper league. Literally, I want to cry. I
And-
look at
and
it
the-
and I'm just like, I gotta find somebody who can start at some point.
Right now, I
I'm
only have a 38% chance of beating Sean.
Yeah, it's all right.
I've had a 30% chance since I think the game was even before the game even started because I have no damn running. I have Derrick Henry and then Kenyon Drake is my second starter right now. I mean, I have Cordero, but I still need 2 flexes. And then with Julio out and then Mitchell on IR.
You're playing Overlord. Oh. That's the guy that talks a lot too. He just shows up after he doesn't
It's
show
really
up in
gonna
the chat until after he wins.
Ryan Cannon about to be
Trevor had a
0-2.
great game already. 40. I wouldn't be surprised. No, for real. Like I think this is gonna be an uphill battle in the sleeper league. An uphill battle for sure. I mean, Derrick Henry. Oh, Derrick Henry. I'm gonna need a lot. But it's a long season. I'm confident in my pickups.
Could you imagine if the Giants go to 2-0?
I really can. That's the worst part. Once you start looking at some of these teams and the other teams that they're playing on paper, like we were just talking about it with who was it? Oh, it was the Commanders, and then you start bringing up the teams that they're gonna play.
Yeah, the Giants honestly are a
It's
good
like-
team. I think on paper,
But
it's just
The Giants have a good defense.
yeah.
And they have a
but-
good. I think Dayball is a good head coach. I liked him before. I mean, on paper, I think he should be a good head coach.
The Giants
The Giants
had the Panthers on 3rd and 22 and stopped them and got another fumble recovery. DJ Moore fumbled.
Cool.
5 minutes into the game. 5 minutes into the game, and they already got 2 fumble recoveries. Should have started the Giants
Massive
fantasy
W
on
for
Oh
DraftKings
wow!
today.
What
there.
I thought that could have been called a late hit, but man, Giants is first and goal.
Honestly, if the Panthers keep playing the way they are, though, I would be on the lookout for the teams that they start to play as far as defenses go.
Yeah.
They would be one of the
Yep.
ones.
So I'm not sure. That stinks that the scores aren't on screen.
The fact that the Ravens could go 14-0 on the Dolphins would even be even funnier.
Yeah, man.
That was just a bad play call by the Giants.
It will definitely be interesting to see how Tyreek Hill reacts if the Dolphins do start to struggle, which is definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Been used to a lot of success.
Hey, he didn't want to really work for a contract there though either. He kind of just wanted. I think he wanted out. The fact that the first quarters are almost over already in Jacksonville is crazy.
And Jets Browns is down to 4 minutes already.
Yeah, and so is the Giants.
A lot of running.
Jets get the ball back over. Jets get the ball. They're already at 3rd and 9.
Well, the Giants are
Lamar
going
had a
to
great day.
the Giants are going to go up 6-0, and they're going to have it with still getting a second half kickoff
Right.
because 2 fumbles. I mean, I should have started the Giants. Apparently, I'm going to have to start anyone that plays the Panthers in fantasy.
That's what I was saying. It might be one of them teams to start looking out for if they continue their struggles.
Yep.
Crazy to
Problem
hear
is,
that the
though,
Panthers are already interested in Baker coming back too.
the problem is though, Baker Mayfield could have those games where he wakes up and feels dangerous and wants to throw for 5 touchdowns. The the Panthers are good enough that they could score 5 touchdowns. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, Jets get an offside call, so now
definitely
it's
are.
third and 4 instead of 3rd and 9.
The Panthers defense did make a really nice play there on Daniel Jones on a 2nd and goal.
Nice play, man. There's. Are you guys watching individual games or red zone?
Red
I'm
zone.
watching the red zone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Touchdown in Jacksonville.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Christian
No
Kirk.
problem.
Oh, Kirk.
Kirk.
And then Baltimore is about to score again. Miami's going to have like 4 offensive plays, and Baltimore's going to be at 14-0 after the first quarter.
All right, the Jets just picked up a first down. Who can tell me how they got the first down?
I don't know. Probably
Any
a flag.
guesses?
I'm going to go with a flag.
Nope. Joe Flacco scrambles for 7 yards.
Oh, geez.
You love to see it. Let's go.
That's kind of scary to think
awesome.
about.
That's how you
pretty
get
scary.
the whole Jets sideline juice.
Literally juiced.
Joe
Probably,
Flacco.
he's probably gonna have to pee in a cup after the game.
Probably.
No,
You just can't be you can't be having that kind of stuff.
Ooh, that Kirk touchdown.
Is
I'm
that
just seeing
DeAndre
the
Swift
Kirk
that just
touchdown.
broke
That
that?
was
Yeah, yep, right there. Swift for 51 yards.
And his over under for yards today was 48.
That might be the pick of the week.
He back-to-back weeks he broke his over under in yards in 1 rush attempt. Last week was in the first rush attempt of the game for 52. This week for 51.
I was going through the parlays last night. I could not believe his over under was like, I think 60.5 on FanDuel. I was like,
I took his
okay.
I took his over under yards at 72 for rushing and receiving yards combined. His over under was 72. I took it because I was like, it's DeAndre Swift in the Lions. He's already got like 60.
Yeah, literally. I'm pretty sure if I checked my thing, he probably already hit because it was definitely like 60 something on FanDuel last night when I went on.
Problem is the Lions got to put it in the end zone.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, they're re-showing a DeAndre Swift run
Yeah, that's
now.
the problem the Giants are having right now for sure. The Giants are not getting any separation, and all it takes is 1 or 2 plays. And that's momentum shifting, things like that. When you have multiple chances in the red zone and you don't get scores.
What sucks for DeAndre Swift is they use Jamal Williams a lot inside the red zone.
Right,
So that hurts DeAndre Swift numbers
Jamal
for
Williams.
sure.
right.
What a fucking guy. I don't know if anybody watched even a little bit. I have to finish watching the Hard Knocks season because there's just some great – I don't even watch a lot of Hard Knocks, but Amar was telling me to check out the Lions when they had some great moments.
Yeah, I didn't see any of them.
Jamal,
I'll have to check them out.
star of the show.
Oh, the Jets fake a punt and get it.
But see, that's the stuff you got to do when you're starting Joe Flacco week 2. Just play like everything. It just doesn't matter already.
Well, already Joe Flacco is 1 for 4 for 3 yards. I mean,
Jeez.
if he can't, I mean, why not play Mike White? Mike White had a game last
Had
year
some
where he
good
passed for
moments.
400 yards.
Mike White
might have to
became a
bring him in
legend
at
in one
halftime.
game.
Honestly, it comes down to it. You might
That's what I
have to bring him in at halftime or something.
Yeah,
I-
just
if
don't
you're the
understand
Jets-
the whole thought process of bringing in a veteran who's not even good.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I'm the Jets, I'm bringing. If I struggle in the first half and I'm losing, I'm bringing in the backup in the second half because what do I have to lose?
right.
If you're struggling in the first half, bring him in the second half. And what's the worst that could happen?
Right. Yeah.
100% agreement. And then you might find some different connections and stuff like that. Get to find something that works. If nothing works, and then the worst that can happen is the other quarterback goes in there and plays just as bad. Like, what is it even? What's
Oh,
Right.
here we go.
That's what,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
that's what Sean's saying. What's the difference?
What's the Lions are going for on 4th and goal to 3?
Again, as they should. Another team. Just play balls to the wall. Not high expectations. It's September. Go out there and try and get the dubs.
Incompletion.
Jets another penalty.
Yeah, I'm seeing the fake punt now from the Jets. Quarterback got a cannon. He has more yards than Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he's got 17 yards already. Where Flacco's got 3.
Hey, Flacco's got 7 yards rushing, so technically it's 10.
Oh, I just saw the Lions play.
Yeah, it sucks. You get all the way down. I don't understand, though. Teams, you got to take points.
Jets have 3rd and 2 now. Flacco
a-
to Elijah Moore.
Oh, my God. Is this another fumble recovery for Jacksonville? I think it might be. I'm not sure. Yeah, Matt Ryan got destroyed. And I'm pretty sure. Well, it looks like the Colts jerseys are dark blue. Oh no, yeah, it's definitely raining in Jacksonville, but Indy definitely recovered that fumble. The ball was like on the ground forever. Indianapolis, it's going to be like one of those games again where it's like the third quarter and they're trailing by 15 points and they got to come from behind again.
Oh, in our league here for the channel, I have jumped up to a 40% chance at winning. Look out.
Massive W. Yeah, DeAndre Swift's over-under for FanDuel as of last night was 60.5, and it's got him at 54 right now.
Trubinsky with an interception. Yeah, you're at 41% to win. Here comes all the score bot scores.
Yeah, here it comes.
Flood him in.
Yeah, but you also got to think about it. It might also debate on us between me and you, a debate between my receivers not playing yet because Lazard and Davis are both questionable. So it also keeps probably fluctuating their points.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
33% chance.
I'll decide at 4:00 or 3:30. I'll say 3:50 if Penny's going to be start worthy or not.
Yeah, with that weather, man, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, at that point, I'll decide.
Who are the other options?
Dameon Pierce. That's literally the only other option.
I mean, if there's anybody in that Seahawks-Niners game on either side that I would tell people would probably be worth starting, it is Rashad Penny. But
yeah, it's Dameon Pierce or Zach. Or I pick up somebody from Monday Night Football and hope they do something. But it's I don't know.
Yeah, that would be really.
Yeah, it'd be a far stretch. But
I mean, maybe if you could grab like an Isaiah McKenzie, that might be one of the only worthwhile ones, especially with Gabe Davis having his issues.
Yeah, I'll see when it comes down to it. I'm not too worried. I'm okay. I think.
That was
extremely worried.
That was the Jets' first successful fake punt since 2014.
Who's number 20?
Times are changing.
Breece Hall? Yeah, that's Breece Hall. There he goes.
Big run for Hall down to the 6-yard line. Nice drive by the Jets here to respond.
The guy I'm playing in Dynasty post, he has Pittman in his lineup. He didn't even play today.
Oh yeah, well that's him. I mean you guys are both 0-1. You should both be playoff teams. So one of you are going to be 0-2, and if he's not changing his lineup,
it don't help me. DJ Moore, 1 catch for -2 yards,
and a fumble, right?
And a fumble. I mean, he's got me. And then Carson Wentz out here with a dud so far with 12 passing yards after last week. What hurts me is he has Josh Allen
late in the game.
He has Josh Allen tomorrow night. He has A.J. Brown tomorrow night. He has the defense for the Eagles tomorrow night in Bass.
That's a lot of game, though.
I only have Dalvin Cook tomorrow night, but I have Javonte Williams and Devontae Adams yet tonight. So, yep, the Lions just got a safety.
Yep.
Lions get the ball back again.
Yep. So
But all right, well, I'm
let's see what my Jets do. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I'm gonna head out,
All right.
get some stuff done today on my Sunday, watch some football.
Enjoy the games.
Yep, I'll talk to you guys on Thursday.
Yep. See you, Sean. Thanks,
All right,
buddy.
always
See
great
ya.
hanging out. Enjoy football. I really need Lamar Jackson to have a good week. I
Sure.
really do. If I want my fantasies to be competitive. I mean, Mahomes didn't have a great week, and that's one of the quarterbacks I'm playing. So I just need Lamar to do a little something. He's only got like 2-3 points right now.
Yeah. Yep. See what the Jets do here at 3rd and goal.
This is a big game for them if they can come out here.
Rookie Garrett Wilson with his first career touchdown.
There it is. I was thinking to myself, I was going through the fantasy parlays, and I'm like, I feel like this is the week for at least one of the rookies for the Jets. Whether it's Wilson or Brees or both, I feel like this is the week they get into the end zone.
And that's a good response by the Jets there. Cleveland marched right down the field, and the Jets come right back and get the touchdown. Hopefully they get the extra
Yeah,
point
they
to tie.
Send a message that they're not going to just lay down in this game, even
Yeah.
with Joe Flacco.
Yep.
And hey, with Jacoby in there, could end up being a more competitive game than people see it being, as long as.
Well, now the defense needs to settle down, and the defense needs to do something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Especially if the Jets can make a play here and there when the Browns are forced to pass it, they can find themselves in a good position in this game, especially being able to match.
Man,
The Browns
Evans was
early.
wide open. Evans has got 2 catches, 54 yards for the Bucs so far.
I don't even know how you let that happen when Evans is really the guy right now.
Yeah.
No Julio, no Godwin.
Detroit marching down the field again. That looks so funny. 5-0 in a football game.
Yeah, I love you gotta always love when there's a weird score. Safeties are always a big part of that.
Oh.
I got a text from Amar saying I now hate all Vikings fans.
Wow.
Like 20 minutes ago. I wish I would have seen that a little earlier. Oh, that's too funny.
Not cool.
The Trey Lance slander. It got to Amar. He said, you know what? Can't take this. Not from a Vikings fan. Unbelievable.
Fournette down to the 8-yard line. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 1 for Tampa Bay here.
I had the option to pick up Ingram in one league just in case I needed somebody to do something. I hope I don't end up regretting not grabbing him. But it is what it is. Oh, good. In my other league, Jonathan Taylor and James Robinson have combined for 0.9 altogether.
0.9.
Jonathan Taylor 0.4, James Robinson 0.5. Love to see it. Oh, this one's not bad. Oh, Nick Chubb already's got 11.
So the problem with being in multiple leagues here
Is you always, yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown just scored. So in my Dynasty League, it's good.
You're
I'm
happy.
playing Sean. I'm playing Sean this week in the league for the channel, and he's got him. So
Yeah, it's always like that. I think it's like the one of the coolest things for me is that I do have Lamar in my sleeper league and my uncle's league that is my first league for money. So that's one of the ones that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna zone in on you, and please do well.
fumble in the Baltimore game.
Man. a lot of fumbles these first couple of weeks.
Oh man, that was fourth down, so Miami held. Still only 7-0 there.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a big one for Miami. Wow. It's another one. Just don't know what's up with that. I mean, I even like Rashad Bateman. They just, I don't know if it's more on the receivers at this point or if it's a Lamar thing. Because
So
it shouldn't be that big of a struggle.
Oh, picked off by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I definitely got Pittsburgh winning that. That was another one. If my underdog of the week wasn't the Vikings, just because I thought they were definitely winning that game, Pittsburgh was definitely the other one. I couldn't believe that they were getting points in that game.
Here we go. Got Carolina marching down the field.
Especially after they
and
beat
trying to
Cincinnati
score.
last week and it didn't look very good. Yeah, and that's another thing that I had brought up. If the Panthers go and score a touchdown, for real, doesn't matter
That's
how
true.
weird it gets.
That's true.
I feel that. 17-16 Monday Night Football. I couldn't have cared less. It could have been 2.5 to 3.5, and it wouldn't have mattered to me.
Hey, first time
I can
chatter,
definitely-
Sosa Fire. Thanks for being here. Is the game streaming on Discord? No, I'm not streaming anything over on Discord yet. Still trying to figure all that stuff out.
Oh, yeah, Amar has shown me different ways to do a little
Yeah,
bit of that
so-
stuff. I've actually watched his live streams through before.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure all that out before I start
Yeah.
doing that. It's still choppy if I do it. So
Growth. We'll get
try-
there.
trying to clean that up. But yeah, make sure you join the Discord. It was a good week. Rye Cannon here with all the hot takes on the Seahawks last week called the win. We told them what a complete horrible take it was, and with all the turnovers and
Spicy.
stuff, they did great. So
And hey, the Texans literally were like 2 plays away from having a perfect week for me from both of my upsets and the lock. Literally, all the Texans had to do was execute just one time. Even they were winning the game, first of all, and then in overtime, all you got to do is execute just one time, and just couldn't get it done. But I would be worried if I was a Giants fan right now about the momentum of that Panthers game to get 2 drives into the 10 and then come away with 2 field goals. You could be down in just a few seconds. And not that they won't get the ball in the second half, but it's all about that momentum, and that's why it's so important to be able to punch the ball in. We'll have to see if they can rely on their defense here to force a field goal attempt the other way.
the Browns are marching right down the field again on the Jets, already down to the Jets' 32-yard line. Man,
Browns do have a talented offense, regardless of who is in there under center. If Jacob, it all matters if you can just get it to the players who can ball. That's why I was saying even Miami with Tua, you don't have to ask the guy to do anything too amazing if you can scheme up the right things to just get the ball in the hands of the guys who can do amazing things on their own.
so let's
Because having guys like Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to be able to lean on, especially when you're going against a Jets team that has Joe Flacco starting, and you don't really have to worry about getting into too much of a shootout, and you can literally just pound the rock with 2 of the best running backs in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good matchup for them, but the Jets are in it right now.
Yeah, yep. And Cleveland's got a 3rd and 6 here, so hopefully the Jets can force a field goal opportunity.
Oh, wow. I'm just checking around the fantasy. Oh, because Mike Williams had a huge game. Sheesh.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, the Browns defense, just like that from that Jets touchdown. They were at 10 points, and now they're at 4.
Yeah.
And my likelihood to win the game dropped even more. But you know what? Honestly, if I have to rely on the Browns defense to help me get the win and not like Lamar
Right.
Jackson, I don't deserve to win.
Man. Brissett with no pressure on him. Big play to Cooper.
That's
down to the Jet 8-yard line.
They might have one of the. I mean, it seems like that's been an underrated part of the Browns game because not only do they have such a great running back group, but it feels like for the last 4 or 5 years, they've consistently had some of the best offensive line play in football.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was a bit more rough because they had some injuries all around, but usually the Browns are pretty good to have, especially because they've had some really talented guards over the last couple of years.
I mean, this Jets game is flying by. We're not even at 2:00 yet, and we're almost halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, it's going to probably continue to be that way. That game is going to be run for a lot of it. There's going to be a couple games like that. I mean, I could see the Seahawks and Niners game later being a very quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on delays and things like that, obviously. If the game progresses normally, I don't see there being a lot of passes from Trey Lance or Geno Smith in this game. Not getting a lot of good updates from my fantasy teams.
Nope.
Then again, like we were talking about earlier, a little bit less 1:00 games with 2 Monday Night Football games and 5 games at 4. So still a lot of football to look forward to throughout the day, even once these 1:00 games are over. More so than usual.
No, they called it a touchdown in the Jets-Browns game. No, that's incomplete. Let me look. Let's look again. Oh, they zoomed out again. It looks like that's incomplete. By the time he gets possession, the second foot comes down out of bounds.
Yeah. I don't.
So he did catch it, but it was he didn't get both feet in.
Peoples Jones, yeah, that's real close.
Harold says, do you think this early in the Lions game they should control clock and run it as much as they can?
Yeah, as soon as you get a team, in my opinion, like I was saying earlier, you gotta you have quarterbacks like a Daniel Jones or like a Geno Smith or whoever it is that you can't necessarily rely on to go out there and make big plays. I think you put the ball in the hands of whoever your best player is. In the Lions case, that's DeAndre Swift, and you minimize risk. You minimize the risk of Jared Goff throwing the game back. Look at what happened with Trey Lance last week. Sean brought it up earlier. They were up 10-0.
Oh, what a play in the Baltimore-Miami game. Waddle, that's got to be at least 70 yards.
Oh, my God, that would be huge for me. That would be huge for me this week. I need that. Got Waddle in a couple leagues, and I got him on my fantasy.
That's somewhere between 60 and 70 yards, that play. It's got to be.
I'm watching it now. 2nd and 13, all the way backed up. Boom, there it is. Great blocking downfield.
Yep, the play was overturned in the Jets-Browns game, incomplete pass.
Yeah, it would have been.
Third and goal for the Browns.
Wow, what a play. Completely flipped field from their own 2 or 3 yard line to the 28 of Baltimore in one play.
Yeah, look, all the scoring updates are coming in now.
Miami right back in it.
That was Brissett's first incomplete pass of the game.
They need to force. That's really where they're going to have to make their money. Play good coverage, especially because it doesn't seem like they're able to generate as much pressure as you'd like.
Harold says the Lions are back in field goal range already.
There you go. You got to think, especially with all that money coming in to make that game an even instead of the Lions being favored. Nobody believes in the Lions. Only the Lions believe in the Lions. So you got to go out there and do whatever it takes to not only get a lead, But if you can build on that lead, especially early in the game, that is definitely a good way to start. Because when you have teams like we were talking about, like that don't have an above average quarterback, you just rely on the skill position players that you can when you can.
Wide open. How do you leave a receiver wide open on a 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line? No defender around him. I don't understand. It wasn't a trick play. Wasn't anything. Nobody covered him.
Yeah, that'll probably be the next play I see here. Yeah, here, 3rd and goal. Here we go. Oh, yeah. I don't know whose assignment that was, but he was definitely alone in the back of the end zone.
Right.
Mr. Trubisky goes down. It's going to be interesting to see who
Waddle with a touchdown.
There you go. That's one for the ticket. Going to be interesting to see who the first rookie quarterback that gets a start is. Or not even really gets a start, but comes in off the bench, whether it's Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, whoever. There's a couple of different options. Desmond Ridder is there too, but Mariota probably played the most safe, I'd say, to keep his job for at least another week after week 1. He didn't have any of those bad plays. The Steelers kind of did their thing. As long as Mitch can minimize turnovers, I can't see them turning the reins over to to Kenny Pickett without Mitch basically giving it away. Just because I don't see the Steelers operating like that. If they were going to have Pickett for the year, they probably would have just went into the year with him. Yeah, Malik Willis, though, that's one I could definitely see, especially the Titans start off 0-2, 0-3 after winning getting first place in the AFC last year, going from that to potentially an 0-2, 0-3 start. And with all the Ryan Tannehill has not endeared himself to the NFL fan base after his Malik Willis comments and mentor comments in the first place. It just doesn't come across as somebody you have as a leader of your team, especially a guy who has kind of been carried through the most successful run of his career, a former first-round pick who was a complete bust. Oh, huge run. Robinson.
Yeah, that was a touchdown, right?
Wow. Yeah, that was a big. That is at least a 20, 30-yard touchdown run too. The Lions putting it on early, and this is what they have to, because the Commanders, no matter how you feel about Wentz and things, they do have a boom or bust potential offense. They can do things like this and go scoreless, and then just score a big long touchdown or something out of nowhere. Right. With guys like Dotson and Curtis Samuel, it can come out of nowhere. So the Lions are doing exactly what they have to do early. 15-0 is exactly where you want to be. How about Jacksonville, too? 14-0 to the Colts. Colts fans have got panicking as the season starts. You couldn't beat the Texans in week 1. You tie with them. And now you're down by 2 touchdowns to the Jacksonville Jaguars in this one.
Yeah. So the Jets get the ball back. First play from scrimmage, 17-yard pass to Corey Davis.
There you go.
So,
see, they have some weapons.
Looks like the offense is getting it going here a little bit. And I thought that was going to be the issue. I didn't think the defense. I thought this would have been a low-scoring game where, we're already at 21 points in the first half.
Yeah, not even through the second quarter yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you want to be if you're the Jets. You kind of want this to – you don't want this to be a grind, because that's exactly where the Browns are going to be living for the next couple weeks, months. Like, they're prepared for that exact type of game. So I think if you can kind of get them out of that comfort zone, maybe shock them. That's why I love going for the 4th down earlier. If you can just literally make the Browns uncomfortable while they don't even have the quarterback that they view as their starter in there yet, you can really go in there and get this upset. It's just a matter of staying in the game, especially throughout this first half, because if you're talking about a close game,
the Jets run an end around with Braxton Berrios down to the Cleveland 34-yard line for 19 yards.
There you go. Get creative, break it
Yep.
out. Because, like I said, if they can get this to be close, or if they have a lead going into the fourth quarter, that changes what the Browns can do on offense. You're not going to sit there grinding out 7-8 carries,
Right.
running down the clock if you're down, or if you're in a game where you can give it right back to the Jets with time for them to take the lead before the end of the game. You're going to do whatever you got to do to get those first downs. So if the Jets literally can put themselves in a position to put pressure on the Browns to pass later in the game, that's definitely one of their biggest keys to victory.
Yeah.
Don't give them an excuse to run.
Michael Carter with the handoff. Nice little juke move. Gets about 6 yards for the Jets.
Ooh.
So, flag down. So that'll mean she's coming back. Nope. Penalty on Cleveland. Face mask.
15 on that one.
Man, I'm not
That's
sure what
another
happened. They just put an alert in the thing saying the Ravens already scored. Man.
I have no idea what that must have been a long one then.
Here we go. Here we go. Right here.
Yeah,
Play over the middle. 7 yards. No, who's number 7?
All right, just switched to the Ravens one for me.
Bateman.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it is Bateman. Oh, my God. What a play. That's the type of stuff that gets me jumping out of my chair and mad. And beat him with the slant route all the way to the
Yep.
opposite side and run up the sideline. Come on, that's classic.
He just outran that. That defender had the angle, and he outran him.
Bateman is not a – Bateman could literally be – he was – before that COVID season when he was with Minnesota, he was talked about as literally one of the top guys in the receiving class. If he can start to, like, put up a show like that, this Ravens offense can really be dangerous with a guy like Bateman actually becoming a true number one, like they really wanted Hollywood to be for all that time. And then Mark Andrews, one of the best 4 tight ends in the entire NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens team can be dangerous. It's just a matter of figuring out that running back position with all the different issues they've had over the last. It feels like the Ravens and the Niners just cursed their running back over. I mean, as a Seahawks fan, at least it's just been Rashad Penny and Chris Carson. Like, I can't say it's been cursed when it's 2 guys consistently doing the same thing. But it seems like the Niners and the Ravens can bring in 5, 6, 7 different guys, and one of them something happens to them.
I'll have to check the stats for the game. It looks like Aiden Hutchinson is having himself a monster game already over there.
And that's another guy from the Hard Knocks. Seeing like a fun personality, and just hearing a lot more about his story and his family story of like him wanting to be a Lion and telling them that he's going to be a Lion and stuff like that. I think that's a guy, if you're a Lions fan, how can you not? If you're a Lions fan, you haven't seen the Hard Knocks season, I would 100% recommend go seeing it because you will learn a lot more about some dogs on that team.
Fumble. Yep, this Jets game's over.
Oh, no. No. You hate to hear lost hope. No, it's not.
Joe
over.
Flacco is complete
14-7.
garbage.
He can come out of the game, though. That's definitely –
Strip
that's the thing
sack.
I don't get. You have no marriage to your backup quarterback who is not even young. Like, you're not trying to – he's not like some rookie who it's like, oh, your veteran just went down. We got to see what this guy's got. I'm talking about some – like, he's going to be retired probably in a year or two.
Should be retired now.
Oh, yeah, he should have been retired like 3-4 years ago, for being honest. But I can't even – like, some quarterbacks, you would just got to wonder why. Like, if you're Joe Flacco, you won a Super Bowl, had some amazing playoff runs. You got to wonder – I mean, money. Money to be a backup quarterback. And because that's just got to be it. Because why would you just want to sit there and be a backup for the Eagles and the Jets after the highs that he's experienced in the game of football? This cannot match possibly. And it's quite obvious that he's not going to be able to match the type of stuff that he was able to produce at times in Baltimore. So the Saints, 0 points for the Bucs on the board.
Yep. I don't know what it is about Tampa Bay and playing New Orleans.
That defense, it's something about like the defensive matchup versus the Tampa offense with Brady in there. They play them really well. Oh, that was not a first down. Yeah, he tackled him real short of that first down. That was a great tackle from the Ravens. It looked like a cornerback.
So, all right. We're up to 2 o'clock hour, right, guy? I think I'm going to cut it here. We've dropped the viewership. I got to get some lunch. Thanks for coming on. Go ahead.
I can use something.
It
was a great time. I literally set my alarm for. Oh, yeah, I ain't sure to be able to get in today to chat a lot of football.
Yeah, so we'll be back Thursday at 7, talking Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So I'll send you the link for that if you'd like to join for that as well. But once again, thanks for being part of the team. Thanks for coming on, and I'll talk to you over on your stream.
Yes, sir. Have a great night, everybody. Go Hawks!